welcome to Tasty Treats. Today we are going to be making Earth Day chocolate cups. Now, in case you didn't know, Earth Day is coming up very soon. It is on April 22nd, and so I thought we would make a delicious treat to celebrate it. So, things that we're going to be needing are some graham crackers, Oreos, milk, gummy worms, some green Twizzlers, but I couldn't find any specifically green, so we have some green that are in there. Some chocolate pudding, and then things that we're going to be using, that's the word I'm looking for, are optional, but a blender for crushing up our Oreos, a clear cup. I'm going to use a bowl, it's kind of hard to see. It's a little fish bowl, but I thought it was cute. 2 resealable bags, a mixing utensil, optional, but a cutting utensil, and for using cutting utensils, make sure you have an adult with you, and a mixing bowl. All right, let's get started. All right, so our first step is we are going to be making our clay layer. So each level that we are going to be making represents a different part of the soil. So the first level we are going to do is clay. So I'm going to take my bowl, set it aside, bring out my mixing bowl, my spoon. Now we are going to open up our chocolate pudding. Let me get this open. I'm going to pour it into our bowl. Give a nice little tap to make sure all of the powder, it's kind of going all over. This there. I kind of like to get it all flat, just like that. All right, so now we're gonna take a measuring cup. I forgot to put that in my things that we would need. We're gonna use 2 cups of milk. One, 2. Give it a nice little tap. All right, so now we are going to stir up our pudding until it is nice and smooth. So that means that we don't want any of the powdered little clumps to be in there. So stir it. And once mine is smooth, my pudding is a little bit runny for my taste, so I think I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. But if you're noticing that your pudding isn't soupy, because mine kind of has like a little soupy texture and I just want it to get a little stiffer, we're gonna put it then in our bowl. But as I said, I'm gonna put mine in the refrigerator just because I want to get it nice and firm. Even though it seems actually, it's pretty good consistency, so we won't do the refrigerator. But if yours is a little soupy, just put it in the refrigerator and that should help it a little bit. So, I guess I just needed to do some stirring. All right, so now I'm going to fill my bottom layer. We're not going to fill the whole cup up because we have other layers that we're going to be putting in there. But I want a good amount so then I can see once everything is stacked, I can see it all. You don't want to give it a good shake. All right, so I feel like that's a pretty good amount. So we have our first layer, which is clay or pudding. Now on to our next step. All right, so our next step, now that we have our clay foundation, is we're going to be working on our next layer, which is sand, otherwise known as graham crackers. So I'm going to take one of my resealable bags and break up a couple of graham crackers, just like this, in little pieces, to make it a bit easier to break apart. Now you can use as many graham crackers for this as you feel needed. We just want to have that grittiness in our soil. So because mine is a little bit of a bigger bowl, I'm going to be putting a good amount of graham crackers in there. All right, that should be good. Now I have one more piece, so why not? All right, so now we are going to make sure that our bag is nice and sealed, because this is going to get a little bit messy. I'm going to make sure that as much air is out as possible, just to make it easier. And so now we just break it apart. Ooh. If you want to throw it, you just want to crunch it. You don't want it to be super fine. I must have a hole in this bag because there is a little bit coming out. Uh-oh. So make sure you don't have a hole in your bag. Because yeah, I'm making a nice mess on my counter here, but that's okay, because baking should always have a little bit of a mess, I feel. All right, so I have, you can see, nice and sandy, nice and gritty. And now I'm just going to put it on top of my clay. Give your cup a little shake. All right, so there we have our next layer, which is sand. On to our third layer, which is going to be silt. All right, so our third layer is going to be silt, and we are going to be using our Oreos to do that. You can use a resealable bag similar to how we did our graham crackers and crushed it. Or if you have a blender, I'm gonna use my blender because I've done it before with Oreos and I liked the crushed effect that it gave. But whatever option is available to you or that you prefer, go for it. So I'm going to put some of my Oreos in here, and I do kind of give them a little bit of a crush just to ease it up on my blender. Just a little like, okay. Now, it would help if I turned it on. Silly Miss Terri. Alright, I have paper that flew all over there. Okay, ooh, that is really nice. So I'm just gonna pour mine straight into my thing. I'm probably going to be needing a bit more, but let's just We're working on it, so a couple more times. And I think we'll have just the right amount of Oreo to make up for our silt, which is a mixture that is somewhere between clay and sand consistency. Ooh, a bit of a mess there. All right, that looks good to me. So now we have 3 layers there. We have our clay, our sand, and now our silt. Our next step is we are going to be crushing and stirring in all of our leftover materials to be making our final layer, which is called the loam layer. And that's like the best stuff that you want to use with your plants and when you're gardening. So let's get making our final step. All right, so our next layer that we are going to be doing is called the loam, which is a mixture of our clay, our sand, our silt. So we are all going to mix our graham cracker, Oreo, and pudding all together for that layer. I'm just gonna pour it into my mixture. Now I'm going to stir it all together. Now, in terms of dirt, this is typically what you think of when you are gardening or when you're just digging outside. This has lots of nutrients in it for our plants to grow nice and strong, and it makes a lot of fun mud pies. So I'm going to put that as my final layer. My pudding has definitely gotten thicker as I've had it sitting. So I'm just gonna fill it in. One more scoop will work. Add it down. All right. So now that we have created all of these beautiful layers of soil, so clay, sand, silt, and loam, it's time to plant. Now, as I said, I couldn't find any green colored straws for our grass, so I just bought a pack of colored Twizzlers and figured I will just rip them off myself. Now this step you do not have to do if you just want to do your layers. That's perfectly fine. I thought growing some grass would be fun, so I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut up pieces of grass. So cutting them just like this. You can have your grass be any size you want. If you want long pieces, short pieces. Grass does not have one measurement, as we all know. So we just cut up and then we stick it just like this. And however many pieces you want, go for it. I think for myself that this is a good amount of little baby grass. And I also have some gummy worms because worms are good thing to have in the dirt. If you want, you can put a couple of worms before you put the loam on, just so they're nice and in the ground, as we know worms like to be. All right, and there you have it. We have made our Earth Day chocolate cups. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.